Right, guys. Sorry about last month's lack of knowledge where it comes to what our podcast number was. It was episode 6. This is episode 7, and just to make everyone aware that Humphreys is in the lead on 7. Camilla, you're backing it up on 6. Jarvis, you're on 6, and Mr. Marathon Man, you're on 2.
Oh.
So that's the BDA quiz. So that's where everyone is.
Okay.
Right. So,
clarity.
without further ado, Kevin, run VT. Right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to episode 7 of bdaCHAT, where we discuss digital insights and creative wisdom from around the world of marketing. I'm your host, Lee Williams, and joining me today on bdaCHAT, we've got from Strategy, the lovely Camilla Shukra.
Hello.
And as ever, our dynamic team from Web. He's just returned from Mallorca after failing miserably to get on Love Island. And the other has apparently been struck by lightning at least twice. It's Mr. Dwayne T. Jarvis and it's Mr. Rob Humphreys.
Hello.
Also back on the podcast is the recently back from running a 24-hour speed run.
Yes.
It's our Mr. Marathon Man. It's not Dustin Hoffman. It's Mr. David Knowles.
Is that a random? Thank you very much.
Welcome to BdaCHAT. So, how is everyone?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, good, thanks.
I must admit, I need to learn to slow down sometimes. After watching back the quiz results, I'm sometimes a little bit like
Like a chipmunk.
chipmunk. I'm just too excited. Right, so this month for BdaCHAT, we're going to be having a chat around about how to make things better, be it personal development, achievements, team training, anything that we think in our workplace or our personal lives that help us to make things better. But before we get on with the bdaCHAT, we just need to cover the BDA news. So does anybody want to go first with their BDA news item?
I've got some news.
You've always got news.
Yeah, it's usually quite boring, but hopefully this is useful. Just a quick one with Google. Google have been busy. I don't want to focus too much on Google. I know there's a bit of an affliction there at the moment.
Yeah, so far
a lot of Google talk.
We've had nothing from Amazon. And
No.
we've had nothing from Google.
Okay, well,
Not that we're trying to get anything, but
sponsors welcome. So yeah, with Google, basically, Google Analytics has rolled out their new sort of dashboard. So the opening page that you go to when you log into your analytics account, and it's just really visual, pulls in lots of useful data that you don't have to delve into. It's already kind of running comparisons against the last period. So it might be last week or last month. And at a snapshot when you log in, it's just really useful. They've really updated it, made it a lot more user friendly. And within an instant, you can see things like when are your busy points and peaks in traffic. So again, if any of you are keeping an eye on your own Google Analytics accounts, go in there, have a look. It's really useful. And on the side note of that, they've also been busy with the Google AdWords interface, which has currently been released in beta. But if you log in today, you'll see it. And again, it's quite an archaic user face they've been using for like the last 5 years, but they've kind of really brought it up to speed and it's a little bit easier to use. So just Google improving things there from a user's perspective.
nice.
Well, I've got a couple of bits. It's been a little bit of a month of killings, it seems, across the industry. We've had the death of Paint, only for it to be resurrected about 48 hours later. I know, I didn't know what I was going to do
They
with my job.
resurrected it.
Yeah, there was a bit of a backlash and they
Weird.
decided
Really?
to keep it on, but in a slightly different space and use it as
Yeah.
a bit like a 3D tool and
I
stuff
must
like
admit, that
that.
was the first thing I ever created anything in.
I think most of
Yeah.
us
My
sort of...
dad uses it still. He loves it.
There's such a massive community out there that people still designing stuff in Paint. It's crazy.
Does it ever get updated? Is it just the same old paint?
I'll be honest, I've not seen it since Windows 98, so I really don't know. So maybe someone could tell us how much it's been
Actually,
updated.
since as I'm now back on the old Windows bandwagon, I should give it a go.
So what you
Look
can
for
do.
it.
I shall have a look.
If you look on social media under the hashtag something like MS Paint Art, there's all these like artists who've got followers and stuff like that who create the most amazing
that.
paint pictures, you know, using the square pixel tool and things. So yeah,
Well, with pixel art, you could probably actually make some quite
yeah,
fun stuff, actually.
I reckon. Have a look.
Bit retro.
So on the back of MS Paint being killed off and then coming back. There's been Apple killing off the iPod Shuffle and Nano, which is, I think it's quite a big deal, because I think that those devices out of all of them are probably the most useful to when I've had Nanos and Shuffles, just to plug it in, go running and stuff like that. You don't want to carry your phone around with you all the time.
But I thought that was a point of them then. So if they've killed them off, what are they replacing them with?
It's just the iPod Touch or the iPhone, pretty much.
Oh, right.
I guess because a lot of people use the apps to track movements running and whatnot, it becomes obsolete, hasn't it? So.
Yeah.
But also, which is probably more important to my field of work, is the fact that Flash has finally been given the chop. I think 2020 is the date that we have all in our calendars now, that we don't have to worry about Flash.
What year, sorry?
2020 is when it's no longer supported. So everybody's rolling out their roadmaps of when to sort of discontinue Flash support. So obviously, Steve Jobs said back in 2010 that it was no longer going to be supported on any Mac device. And I think with Chrome and Google and Edge and Microsoft, then they've got their own roadmaps when they're killing off as well. So it's a good thing. We've got technologies out there that we're using already, HTML5, WebGL and things like that, to overcome those issues of animation and games and those sort of things that Flash historically has done. But it means we can actually move on with web design into a space that is actually a lot more capable of producing really nice products and results. We don't have to rely on this archaic way of working.
Do you think we'll see a lot less Ken Burns effect?
No, there'll be more Ken Burns.
Sorry.
But I think that's a pretty big deal. Obviously Flash is something that came with the web boom back in the early 2000s. It was all based around that Web 2.0. Flash was a big part of that movement.
How many Flash websites did you build?
I built a couple, but then it's moved over to ActionScript 3 when it did that.
I did build a couple.
No. And that was it.
I remember at the time saying, why is it done in Flash? Oh, it's the way to have it now.
You can animate things.
So much easier, no tables.
Yeah. You can move this to there.
But yeah, it was so clunky to move over.
I worked for a company years ago who had a Flash site, and it was beautiful. It was actually really beautiful, and it was this cave that you went in, and all the candles would flicker and all that. It was great. It didn't work anyway, but it looked brilliant.
Back in about 2000, 2001, when I started getting into web design, there was a company called Too Advanced Studios, and they produced some of the most visually amazing Flash experiences for websites. I don't know whether they're still going. I have to check them out, but those guys were on it back then. Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see what they're doing now.
And a lot of Nike's websites, Nike Football and everything, relied heavily on Flash, and they were amazing. Yeah. But obviously not so much anymore.
You still get quite a lot there, but there's still a lot of Flash websites out there. I would imagine there must be.
Yeah, or at least Flash elements embedded into pages.
I always when I have the pop-up saying you haven't got Flash on my screen, it's just. Yeah.
I
think it's incredible. I'm like, what? Yeah. This is Flash.
I mean, one of the stats I pulled out, and not to dwell on news too much, but one of the stats I did pull out from Google Chrome users was that 3 years ago, 80% of users were viewing a Flash sort of element or Flash-enabled site, and now that's down to 17%. So actually, users are being switched off by Flash quite quickly, and not visiting those sites. So it's been a little bit of a.
It's one of those things because if you did have Flash running, and sometimes if you can hide the whole, you don't know it's running in Flash. You can really. There was some really nice websites.
Yeah.
But it was when that stumbling block of you haven't got the latest Flash or Flash has not been uploaded. It's like I ain't going there. Let's go somewhere else.
Yeah.
It was an instant kill really.
And I think that the user expectation of web and how the web works has been a major part of that downturn in Flash usage. So. Yeah. That's it for me, really, in terms of news.
I think you two have definitely had BA haircuts.
It's a podcast haircut.
Podcast haircuts. It's all about the podcast haircut.
We all have, apart from you.
I have no. Unfortunately, no cut. Full ginge. Camilla.
I don't have any news, but because I thought I'd talk about a book that I'm reading. Because it's pretty good, and it's called I'm hoping to finish it because I have this habit of buying books, reading about a third of the book, and then buying something else I see that I like the look of. And this one's called Nonsense, and it's called The Art of Not Knowing, and it was Elizabeth from Now Go Create that kind of brought the book up, so I started to have a read, and it's really, really good. It's by a chap called Jamie Holmes, and it's about using, I thought it was a bit relevant to today's topic, and it was about using ambiguity, harnessing it, and actually creating something quite good out of not knowing. So say we're in, just to kind of summarise it really quickly, say you're in a stressful situation, it's very easy to, I always do that, it's very easy to grab onto truths that you know already. So solutions, because it's quick and it's fast, instead of actually if you don't do that and you learn a different way to use ambiguity in a different way, means that you can actually learn a bit more. So embrace it rather than panic and get the answer that you've always used before, and take some time with it and kind of enjoy not knowing. It's a good book. It's a good read. I'm halfway through, so I'm hoping to finish it.
Sounds it.
Yeah. So there you go. We'll put the link in the description if anyone
I
wants
did
to
that
check
with
it out.
a fruitcake at the weekend. This is random, but I was around my mum.
Whoa!
Where's this going?
The art of not knowing, or the art of trying something different. Or
Yeah.
not, you know. So basically, I was around my mum's 2 weeks ago, and there was every day around there for Sunday lunch, and there was a fruitcake in there. And I eat a lot of fruitcake every Sunday. Every Sunday without fail, I just make fruitcake. So
That's awesome.
there's this fruitcake there, and I took a slice of it. My mum's cooking is pretty much amazing. And I was, oh, Mum, this fruitcake's amazing. She goes, oh, yeah, it's whipped out. I was like, well, what'd you put in it? Oh, it's whipped out. She goes, and then she's like, Lee, what you do is you cook them too fast. I cook them slow. I'm thinking,
That's it.
oh, okay. So this weekend, again, as every Sunday, it was a Saturday though this time. So I made my fruitcake, whacked in the oven. I thought, no, I'll turn it down this time. I'll turn it down, 125. We'll cook it real slow. Come on then, Mum. Let's see what you got. Chucked it in, and then left it in there, and then took it out. And yeah, it was a bit different, but I still haven't mastered it yet. But yeah, I
it's
think
about
it's a way.
seeing it from a different perception, isn't it? Instead of what you'd normally do.
Yeah,
Enjoy it a little bit.
Yeah, you got not be afraid to not be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
You know, if it goes wrong, it goes wrong.
Yeah, it doesn't
You know,
matter.
it doesn't matter, does it? But at least you've tried it. Oh, I've tried that a different way, and I've
Yeah.
discovered a new way of doing things rather than just continually.
That's the book in a
Yeah.
nutshell, like the fruitcake analogy. That's it.
Is that in there as well?
No. Of course it isn't.
There's even quotes from you in this book.
And a picture of Lee with his,
With my mum.
with his mum.
Okay,
That was my bit.
on to you, Dave.
So mine's a book as well. It's not a book that I'm reading at the moment. It's a book I've read. And again, I brought it in because of the topic that we're talking about today. It's one called Legacy. So Legacy, it's by a chap called James Kerr. And James Kerr writes about his experience of experiencing the All Blacks and the culture of the All Blacks and the way that they have become the most successful sporting team in history ever, basically. And how he then uses their culture and the way that they do things and kind of positions it against businesses. So, for example, the first chapter, and it's one that I've used amongst, in some of my presentations to the team here, is having the right characters and sweeping the sheds. So that is that nobody is too big to sweep the sheds, to pick up a broom and sweep the changing room of everybody's mud and tape and all sorts of other things that get left in a rugby changing room after a game. And that's the same in business. You know, there should be nobody who's too big to do the little jobs. And then there are other things in it about so going for the gaps, so adapting to change, and to if things aren't right, then you've got to change to adapt to them. You know, to ask why you're doing things, why are you playing, why are you doing this game? You know, and then it's about empowerment and creating leaders from the other people around you, and then making sure that you've got the right teammates. Mm-hmm. So there's a chapter called, well, I don't think the chapter's called this, but it says no dickheads. Okay, you know, it's about having the right people on your team to make sure that you are successful. Because if you don't, you're not going to be successful. Mm-hmm. So that's I found it a very, very good book, which I've referred back to several times.
Lovely stuff. Give it a go.
Legacy.
Inspiring.
Is there a chapter in there about how to pull faces at your opposition? Intimidate people.
Intimidation.
Oh, like the hackers.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm not sure. I'll have to refer back to
Chapter 5, imitating.
Right.
Love stuff. So I guess that brings us on to the actual chat of this month, which is, how to make things better, how to improve ourselves, which areas you think you would love to improve, and how you think about maybe team improvements. So Who wants to crack us off? Who wants to go with take it from the top?
Shall I start?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shall I? Okay. So, team. We're only a small team. We're only 25. But there is a big emphasis, I think, and there should be a big emphasis in business, in any business, on team and creating the right team. Hence this legacy book and making sure you've got the right players on your team, making sure you're creating the reasons for why, empowering people, and so on and so forth. And having goals and having, big, huge goals that you're aiming for, that everyone can believe in and get behind, and communicating those. I think, and we'll get on to the kind of training and development and all that type of stuff from some of the other guys. But the point of having training in any culture, whether that's in a rugby field or whether that's in a company, is that you've got to know what you're aiming for and what you're training to become better at. There's no point being a prop forward and probably learning to kick conversions and penalties and things, because you're never going to get that opportunity in the game. So don't spend hours practicing it. Yeah. But if you're the fly half and you're the best at the team at it, you've got to practice it a lot. And it's the same. It's the same in a company. You've got to know what you're trying to practice to become better at, and therefore that needs a clear set of goals. And then those goals need to be waterfall down to the rest of the team. So you start with the goals at the top. So we want to be, the best in the world. We just use the rugby analogy. Best in the world, that's what we want to be. So as a team and as the various different departments in that team, so you might have the backs and the forwards, and you might have the scrum half and the fly half, you've got your little individual departments within it who've got to practice things better. They've got to understand how we're going to be better at scrummaging, how we're going to be better at making sure the communication between the two of us is as good as it possibly can be. And then as an individual, well, I'm the fly half, I need to practice my kicking better. So if we look at that in an organisation like this, we might say we want to be really good at digital stuff. We want to be the best in the world at digital, producing websites. So as a team, the digital team knows they've got to become really good at web development, at, JavaScript, HTML5, all the latest newfangled stuff which is out there, in order that we can provide that to our clients. But within those teams are going to have gaps in knowledge which need to be filled by the people within it. So Rob will look at himself and he'll say, do you know what? I'm not very good at HTML5. I need to get better at it. So I'm going to train myself to get better at that. But that's how you can then waterfall or cascade it back the other way to actually get to your goals. Yeah.
I think there's a big in the industry, we talk about, being up to speed with everything that changes. And we touched on this before when we had a chat before the podcast, but it's so hard because there's so much stuff and it's changing constantly, and it's about being informed but not overwhelmed. And just what you just said there, David, around, prioritising your knowledge is just so important, because we could all, and we read the drum, we read marketing, we read all this stuff, this overload, but unless you see that gap, it's the only way to do it is to prioritise your knowledge and say, that's the gap that I want to learn more about, and fill that gap. Otherwise, you're just overwhelmed. There's just so much stuff to keep on top of, and we all feel it.
Yeah, it's such a fast-paced industry that you end up consuming yourself with almost, dare I say, worry, but it is like a worry that you think, well, am I out of touch? Am I continuously always behind just because I'm trying to keep up?
And you skim read because you're like, I panic. I'm going to skim read about this and about that, instead of going, well, actually, I'm just going to focus on X, and I'm going to go a bit deeper into that gap, and then you'll feel a bit more confident. I think I always do. I always feel a bit more confident when I've just spent a half an hour researching something that I didn't know about, but one particular thing, instead of every day for 5 minutes just skimming those emails because I don't want to be out of touch, or it's quite scary, but it does help build your confidence.
You can never know everything. That's why you have a team, isn't it?
Yeah.
You have different people with different skills in different areas that you can then pull on and draw on, who can help you out in a tough situation that they're going to have your back.
Yeah.
That's why I like that book. I played rugby for a long time, and I was always interested in how great teams succeed. But it's the similarities between that and what we do on a day-to-day basis is so clear that we have to draw those comparisons, and we have to where we have to back each other up.
Yeah, I think there's great examples and comparisons between sporting teams and the workplace. You know, having played sport myself, not to a very high level or good standard, but I know literally, you know, you don't want to be the wink when you're part of a good team that you're proud of and you're trying to achieve things together. You don't want to be the weak link, and that's a motivator in itself. You want to perform for the guys around you, and you know that's the same in a good workplace. When you have a strong team who are cohesive and have the same shared goals, you really want to be a big player in that, and you want to be a big part of that and not let anyone down. I just think that's just a great way of motivating yourself to develop, to push yourself harder, and not to let anyone else down around you. So I think there's lots of comparisons like that.
Yeah.
I think there was something that I heard at a conference a little while ago. I think it was Tobias van Schneider who mentioned it, which is something that kind of resonated quite a lot with us. As you know, here we always talk about T people, you know, have people having that core strength, and then sort of spanning outwards, you know, that helps to fill those gaps in between and help grow the team. And he said something similar, which kind of resonated, which kind of flipped an old kind of negative analogy on its head, and that is, you know, you could be a jack of all trades, but you're a master of some. Which kind of makes a lot of sense. You know, you need to know a lot of things around the core skills that you can do, and by having that sort of ethos about you can spread your knowledge further. You know, you take a few areas that surround the things that you are passionate about, or the things that you know and you know well, and you just start picking off those bits as well that you. To know little bits about those other elements, and then that's how you can grow those teams and help grow the people behind you, and just empower those people as well with that knowledge.
And even just sharing your knowledge, like we talk about it with blog posts, it's a way for you to kind of cement that knowledge that you've got, that you've learned, and it's a way for you to share it with your peers as well. Because not everyone's going to be able to focus on everything, so it's just quite nice to, if you do get that knowledge. A good way of sharing it is through the videos, through podcasts like we're doing now. We're doing it now. We're just sitting here having a video chat.
Well, you can't grow teams. You can't be a good team if you're there in silo continuously. You can't run a web project, for example, if you're using a waterfall effect. You know, like you're going from one person to another, just passing on information. You have to work together. You have to work as a team. You have to drive together as a team to reach that outcome. You know, you don't. I think it's gone now that we no longer sort of see things so sort of binary in on and off. When is a designer on the job, when's he off the job? And now it's more of a cohesiveness that actually there's more involvement throughout the whole duration of the project from end to end. And I think that's an important element to overcome when tackling a lot of the projects these days, because they are so big and they're so wide. They reach quite a wide audience because of what we try to do in terms of strategy, that actually you can't just switch on and off with roles. You have to say, no, you're together as a team. It's all driving together. Everybody's empowered. Everybody moves it forward to make sure that the product is of the highest quality, and the fact that everybody, you know, is invested that much time into it, that none of them want it to fail. So that's you know, the key in all this.
And there's a couple of big brands out like Salesforce and Pandora. So Pandora do all the charm bracelets, and we all know Salesforce. They invest a lot of their learning and development into mentoring. So where senior management, senior members of staff kind of work with juniors to really share their knowledge. So on a weekly basis they meet, and it buys into what you said, David, about that knowledge at the top, that goal, that vision of the company, but being able to filter that down. Because again, there was a report the other day where they said the number one reason people leave their jobs is because of poor relationships with their managers. So again, what Pandora and Salesforce tried to identify is that actually, well, we can stop this. We can get people on the same page. We can get them singing from the same song sheet, and we can move forward together. So again, they use a lot of mentoring sort of techniques to improve their staff and their teams.
Can I drop a Socrates quote in there?
Yes.
Just 'cause
Whoa,
Well, taking it up a notch.
He said,
need a graphic?
teaching is the highest form of learning, and that's exactly it. Because you have to make your mistakes and you have to fail. I quite like, the other week I think I set something up, it was some UTM codes or something like that, and one of them didn't work, and I'd made a stupid mistake on it, and I'd thought in a different pattern, in a different way. But you only learn that way, and then you go, when it happens, you're like, and then that's it. It's cemented, it's kind of gone in. And it actually feels quite refreshing. To really F something up sometimes, not big, but do you know what I mean? You kind of go, oh, now I get it. Yeah. And it's kind of, that's it, it's in then. I think it's quite refreshing.
So sometimes you only
fail.
appreciate what you've learned by actually teaching it to somebody else.
Yeah.
You like you say, it cements it in there, and you realise, wow, how much do I actually know about this? I didn't,
Yeah. Or the people asking questions, you're like, well, I don't know.
Or either you go find out, or you just do something where it's just like this, and you forget how. That's I guess.
Well, you get it becomes second nature when you're at work to do what you need to do, and it's only at times, for example, I guess when we're doing workshops or we're standing up talking about the subject that we do, like the digital day we did back at the end of last year. It's not until you get to those points where you go, right, I now need to offload this information. I need to make this to the wider audience and teach them. Do you think, I don't know where to start? And it's not because you don't know where to start because you don't know it, because you know too much and you don't know where to start.
You feel it's common knowledge, don't you?
Yeah.
You think like, well, surely everybody knows this, right?
Yeah,
or not everybody, but you think. And then some of it you just think you preach. I mean, I must admit, sometimes I hate when you get up there and you think, oh, I'm just preaching here.
Praise the Lord.
I changes, but no, I mean, to be fair, it's continually like pushing yourself forward, I think, and continually sort of and reevaluating what you know. And for me, sometimes maybe it's not so much focus. I sometimes think if you focus too much, you become a little bit unbalanced, and that your life is not quite in I don't know. It's kind of like for me, if I focus too much on work or too much on stress or too much on I need to make sure I'm the master of this. I need to make then other areas of my life to start to deteriorate. It might be my health. It might be I'm not spending enough time at home. And then I think, what's more important? So what and over the years, I've kind of battled with this a lot, and I've summarised it now in that for me, it's the most important thing, and I know that if I'm this, then I will focus on what I need to do. I will make sure that what I'm doing is, I'm really enjoying this. It's all I just need to be happy.
I was going to say.
But if I'm happy, then I know that I'm pushing myself. I know that, and the reason I'm happy is because the stuff behind me is in a good place. So I leave the house in a good place. Like, I'm not in an argument with the missus. I know the kids are happy. I know I'm driving to work. I'm happy. Then I walk through the door. I'm happy, and I'm still continuing that. So people I work with, Holly, and we have a chat about what we've done the weekend. Everything's. There's that energy that just then you just give it out.
It's like contentment, isn't it?
Yeah,
and content, and the rest kind of follows.
And then it doesn't matter. You can think, well, okay, I'm going to focus on this one part, this one piece that I need to get done, and I know that I'm going to do this really well because my mindset is in the right place. And having your mindset in the right place, that's another thing that I battled with last year, because my health was just not in the right place. So then I thought, and once all these things start to line up, it's then you feel like you're getting on top of things. And then you're not so twitchy about I got to keep training, I got to keep getting better, because all you end up doing is you make a vob for your own back, and you're just like massive. You keep hitting yourself, and I got in that for such a long time. I just thought I need to get better motion, I need to get better at keyframe, I need to be better at this, I need to learn every single program on the planet.
Criticising yourself all the time.
And in the end, and I learned that by trying, and like all our one-to-ones we had, all our training, I was like, I need to go and learn Cinema 4D. Every time I set myself up to do it, I'd fail, because I was setting myself up for too much of a task. So then in the end, to be fair, in the end I thought, I've been a bit defeatist at points. I was like, I'm never going to do it. But only by knocking myself down a bit and then rebuilding myself up, and then basically reevaluating what I actually need to learn, and then like you said earlier about being able to give it back, being able to say, like bouncing ideas, because I used to work on my own a lot in video, but now I've got Holly on board, I can bounce ideas off Holly. Or if there's an idea of there's things that I've got myself into a corner, and you think, hang on, is this before I get there? Whereas before, this is great. I'm building this composition. This is going to be awesome. Yeah, how much time we got? How much money we got? This is going to be amazing. And a week later, when I'm like really down, I'm thinking, oh no, what have I done? But backing up, now if I'd sort of been a bit more open about it and sort of bouncing ideas off in the beginning, and so I think
that's a really good point.
I think, but as you're saying though, happiness and lifestyle is key. And I think what's more key is not only are you in a good space personally, but that resonates out from people. And when you work with teams, and we're quite fortunate in a creative agency that we have people that generally are a little bit sort of off the wall, and so you can bounce crazy ideas. That's the part of nature. We have to look for those sort of avenues of differences. But when you bounce that positivity off, it it creates more ideas, it creates more positivity, more creativity, and you get this sort of loop of being able to sort of progress, and it filters out, and you actually see good results come from that. And I think it's very key to be sort of healthy heart, healthy mind sort of attitude, and just keep that.
Well, you get progression as
This
well.
reminds me of the gym that we've got at BDA. Could we do a little shout out to the new room that we've developed?
Yeah.
BDA gym.
If you wish.
We've got a BDA gym.
We have. I can't actually.
So
I'm
we've got
itching.
machines.
I'm itching to actually.
Have you not used
no,
it
no,
yet?
no, we've not used
Yeah.
it yet. Well, to be fair, we've not used the equipment, but
No. We only went in at the weekend.
only been in a week. Yeah,
But it's
but
awesome. It just plays in really nicely to that healthy, strong body,
Yeah.
strong mind.
Yeah, David, what was the thinking behind
Yeah.
the
So
BDA gym?
the idea behind it is that so we had some spare office space that we want to use. We want to use it in a multi-purpose way, both to allow us to carry out brainstorming or workshops or facilitate meetings and things with clients or internally, but also, because it's not going to be used all the time, allow our team to, I suppose, develop their physical well-being. So because there are a number of people who go running or who would do like exercise type video things at lunchtimes, we've basically made a more professional looking, permanent place for people to go and do that. And I'm a big believer in exercise and things anyway, so we've invested in a small amount of equipment really to allow people to have a healthy body and a healthy mind, because it does give you more energy.
Yeah.
It does make you feel a little bit, I suppose, better in the afternoon if you've done it at lunchtime or first thing in the morning or in the evening or whatever. And I think that's a good thing to advocate. We've done things in the past as a company because, again, this healthy body, healthy mind, we've had a nutritionist come in to talk about food, and what we should and shouldn't be eating, and why you might have a lull in your day because you've eaten too much carbohydrate at lunchtime, or you're drinking too much caffeine, or whatever else with the other reasons behind it. And certainly through doing some of these things, I think it's helped our team. I know, Lee, you'll often talk about the Tough Mudder that we did at the beginning of last year, that was a bit of a turning point in your physical well-being because it gave you something to focus on, and you've not stopped since, have you?
well, I was 19 stone. I had trouble getting out of bed.
Did you call Jerry Springer for that?
I was
one?
always late. I was always late to work because just couldn't get out of bed. Had to stop off and get some snacks on the way. And it was it was a turning point for me. Only because I guess I was always quite active, but the nature of this job is that you do sit in front of a computer a lot.
Yeah.
And then you go home and you sit in front of a computer, or you sit at home, or you're tired, or you go home. So there's that breaking it down. And then I think I've got two boys, and they're just like dogs that just boundless amounts of energy and trying to keep up with that is hard. So for me, it was just a case of I need to start doing something. I always remember thinking, like, my dad's words of wisdom: use it or lose it. There was one of the, either if you don't.
Your dad didn't come up with that.
Well, he didn't come up with that, but he probably. But that's what it stuck with me, and I was just like, if you don't, running was never really. I'm a pacey runner, but I don't like long distance because it just I don't know. So it was the Tough Mudder was. I've always been one out in the sticks when I was a young kid. And now we had this conversation about this a while back, didn't we? But we won't go there. But yeah, and just running around the Tough Mudder and just doing all those activities, it was just like it was cool. It's like being a kid again, to be honest with you. And I was seeing so many videos of like the ice one that we did, and the one we have to hang tough. It was brilliant.
Electrocuted at the end.
But the thing and it was a team spirit, and it was the fact that I know me and Jake were up. We was up with Chloe. There was a pack of us at the front, and there was a pack behind. And me and Jake, we hung back. We thought, we just hung back, and we must have done the, the barrels they flip over.
Oh yeah.
We must have done that so many times because we were just having so much fun. We were like,
I'm not getting out.
I'm not getting out. Just get back in there. And it's like, where are you getting in? And it's like, remember when Sam came up and she got in. It's like she had to get lifted out because she couldn't take it. But it was a team spirit. It was good, and so from that, yes, we trained to do the Tough Mudder, and I never stopped really after that. I try to train every day, and if I don't train, I get really aggy. And then now that the gym's here, it's just I can see a progression. I saw a progression in me when I started. I can see a progression in me now. And then even when now the gym's here, I looked at all those weights in there and I thought, and I went and I picked up the 25 kg one. I thought, and I was like, yeah, I've picked it up. And I thought there's a point when I'll be able to pick this up and I'll be fine with it. Well, not fine, but I'll be a lot better. It'll be a lot easier. And I know that, and I will work at that point to get to that. And that's what I love about it. There's progressions, there's targets, you can see them and they're achievable. And then you apply that to something else. You apply that to.
But that's the same for any mental training as well, isn't it? You know, there's different ways of doing it as well, and different people learn in different ways. Better, you know, to how to do their job. Some by making mistakes, others by watching others, others by, I don't know, watching videos, others by doing. You know, how do people? Because we have the training budget here as well.
Yeah.
You know, how do people best learn? You know, using that.
It's funny because I went to one with D and AD. I always struggle with that. And it was just a day workshop. And it was about negotiating, things like that, and how to build relationships with clients. And it was fascinating, but I couldn't have done it if I had to read something or I need to literally listen to someone talking.
That's it.
And then it kind of goes, oh, and it sinks in. Because otherwise if I was reading a book or it's just like, doesn't...
And that's what's so great about the training we do here, because it's the way you learn best, and we all learn differently. So, you know, whether that's listening or reading or whatever it may be, you get to use it in a way, or doing. Yeah,
it's a good one.
Because I read a stat the other day that millennials, they make up the largest segment of the workforce now in developed countries, and they rated top of their list of looking for a job and a potential employer as training, learning, and development is the biggest thing to them. And, you know, companies like Adobe out there, their focus is very much attracting the top talent by really showing that we really develop and we really move forward and we innovate as a company and we move our staff forward. So again, you know, it plays into what we do here a little bit, and how we all get to choose and use our budgets.
It's funny, it's kind of like gamification, isn't it? In a way. It's XP. Everyone's XP change.
Must level up.
Yeah. I've got to level up.
Yeah.
It's that, because it is that sort of, you know, just one more night and I'll be
but you have
10.
You have to allow your teams, you know, in business, allow your teams to do that. I think if you're still very traditionally in your values and how you work as a company, that's how you're going to end up losing sort of the best talent, the best people you've got.
Because it's competitive out there.
It's now hugely competitive, and I think you're right. Absolutely, XP in business is probably the simplest way of looking at it. How do you level up? How do you progress as a person?
You look at us, any business, Adobe's point where they're trying to look at training and things like that. You know, you are trying to attract the very best people, and so are we. So how do you do that in this day and age? Because it isn't just about money. It is about what else you can provide. It is about the training. It's about the environment you're working. It's the people that people are going to be working with. It's the other facilities that you get. It's the social bits and pieces that you might do. It's the way your learning and development, their ability to actually feel empowered and part of something. There are so many different reasons why somebody wants to work for a company, which is over and above how much cash am I going to get at the end of the month. So it's really important to have all these other things.
I've heard a lot of companies calling it B2E, so business to employee.
Okay.
So B2E initiatives that are going on out there because they see the value in exactly what you said.
Lovely. I think that kind of wraps it up, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, my take is just be happy. There you go. Work out, be happy. He'll charge for it. Right, so bdaCHAT quiz. So here we go. Everyone ready? No, I'm trying not to move it. So
Hands together.
So.
And listen, guys, no cheating, particularly you over there.
Listen,
There's been a lot of cheating.
It's been fair.
Okay.
It's a slogan game. So Humphreys is in the lead on 7. Camilla's and
Cheating.
Rob on 6. David's on 2. Okay, so 4 questions, 4 multiple answers. What I'll do is I'll go to each person to go first once. So then
Okay, nice.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Balancing
we'll
it a
start
bit
with
more.
David.
That's good.
Clever.
Camilla
See?
can't second
So
guess.
then Camilla can't sit there again.
All right.
Okay, so question 1. Drivers wanted. Was it A, Formula 1? Was it B, Eddie Stobart? Was it C, FedEx? Or was it D, Volkswagen?
D, Volkswagen.
B.
I think it's B.
B, Eddie Stobart. B, Eddie Stobart. Not many Stobart drivers.
I think it was C. FedEx.
See, FedEx. Sorry, FedEx is that's got me thinking about the arrow.
Yeah, yeah, you know, the hidden
Yeah,
symbol,
the hidden symbol.
the hidden icon.
If anyone doesn't know, there's hidden arrow.
Is that why you
in FedEx.
paused then?
Yeah, because I'm like very literally went.
No, he's thinking of other ones.
The correct answer is D. Volkswagen.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
We'll put a mark down, David. There. So, David's down 3. Question 2. Oh, I can't remember what it was. Okay, reach out and touch someone.
Oh.
Was it A, AT&T, B, the Samaritans, C, the United Colours of Benetton, or D, Marie Curie?
Oh.
Are these getting harder? Or you,
My Google search is...
I'm going with B. It might be the obvious one. I'm going to go with the Samaritans.
Samaritans?
I think A.
AT&T,
I think D.
That was one.
Marie Curie.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Samaritans as well.
It's actually A, AT&T.
These are tough.
They are tough.
Oh.
Rob's beginning to pull away. 8 now.
He's looking all
go.
smug
Yeah,
because
of course
now
I
he's
am.
pulling
I'm
out.
It's my corner. Question 3. Uncola. Was it? I was going to start wrong. Was it R White's Lemonade?
Oh, Whites. Oh, sorry, there's options.
2, 7-Up. 3, Fanta. Or 4, Pepsi. Sorry, D, Pepsi. I don't know why I've gone the numbers.
C. Fanta.
C, Fanta.
B. Which
4.
was, it sounded right at the time, 7-Up.
What was A?
R White's Lemonade.
I'll have that one then.
I'm going with that one too.
R White's Lemonade. Did you see my little brain pause for a second? Because I was like, I've made these up so well, I can't remember which one it was. Anyway, it's 7-Up.
Oh.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Ah.
I'm sure it's 7-Up.
Okay.
Because I remember at the time thinking lemonade, and people would get 7-Up. It was.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, 7-Up's 7-Up's lemon and lime, is it?
Yes.
I don't know.
Used to have that stick man, didn't it, in the 90s with the big hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
That's a good little animation.
He had a name. Can't remember what it was.
Ed.
No.
Eric. No, that's Flaric. Anyway, question 4. Where's the beef? Was it 1, Knorr stock cubes? Was it 2? B. It's because look, I'm sorry, I started ABC and then it went 1, 2, 3, 4. See, that's creative.
The creative mind.
the creative
Unpredictable.
Mind. Was it B, Wendy's? Was it C, McDonald's? Or was it D, Oxo?
It's D.
So you're going with D,
Oxo.
Oxo.
I'm going to go with D as well.
D, Oxo.
Don't play it safe, guys.
I'm thinking don't go with D. What was A?
A was Knorr stock cubes.
I'm going to go with A.
A, Knorr stock cubes.
D.
D, Oxo.
I'm going to be really annoyed.
Oh, that's
Don't
it.
look at me like that.
It was actually B,
Oh.
Wendy's.
Wendy's.
Oh.
No beef.
I don't even know what Wendy's do.
Burgers, don't they?
Do they?
I think
I
they
thought they were
do.
cookies.
No, Wendy's.
No, Wendy's cookies.
Wendy's chain of. There's not many. Yeah,
Okay.
many American. I don't think.
It's like
Never heard
Wimpy,
of
there's not
Wendy's.
many left.
It's like Wimpy's. Wimpy, I don't
Yeah,
know.
there's a couple left.
Is it what Wimpy's?
They're a franchise, weren't they?
Yeah, there's a few left.
Well, that ends the quiz. So basically,
we
Humphrey's
got?
on the lead on 8, followed
Yes.
closely by Javo on 7, Camilla's on 6, and David's on 3.
Hurrah.
David's rubbish.
Well done, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you want to reach out to us, you can grab us on our social media channels at ThinkBDA on Twitter or Facebook, as on our site. Lovely stuff. So we're all off on holiday soon. So I don't know. Hopefully, we're going to hopefully get
We're
another
not all going
BDA
together,
chat. We're not all going
let's
together.
say.
We're not all going on a cruise.
No.
But yeah, so look out for our next podcast. Well, hopefully, I think we're trying to get. Well, it should be next month, but it might be a little bit longer. When everyone's away. But thank you for tuning in, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon. Peace out.
Goodbye. Goodbye.